Welcome to our podcast. I'm Stacey Donadio.
And I'm Shannon Fasone from Turnkey Women,
where we're opening doors for women in business.
Cheers. Hi, everyone. Welcome back. We are here with our next podcast and the amazing boss babe to my left. I used to do that in field hockey. I played left back. You think I would have known the position at some point, but I still, and then it became like a superstition. Anyway, the girl to my left is somebody who reached out to us on Instagram.
No, we'll start over.
You start.
I don't start.
So Lauren Farrell here, and I'm going to say it because
You're not afraid anymore.
I'm not afraid. I wasn't afraid to say it. I was afraid of, like, I just didn't want other people to think, like, what's wrong with that girl? And then I'm like, what's wrong with me? Like, I was talking to my mom about this when I was driving to her house.
Say the name.
Jooicy Tits Vodka.
There we go.
Good
Jooicy
job.
Tits.
You've come so far.
So far. Remember how red she got that first night? She couldn't do it. She made me say it.
I told you beforehand. I thought I would, I don't know. I thought I'd fumble.
So
and now I love it. It's not that I didn't love it. It was, and I was telling my mom, like,
It's a comfort level.
Yes,
She's a good
exactly.
Catholic
it's
girl.
a strong word. It's a provocative word for a
Sure,
reason,
yes,
right?
Exactly.
Right?
Like
Like,
the marketing.
what did I ask you? I said, where did it come from? Like,
It was a joke. Totally a joke in college. And people always go when I say that, they're like, was that your nickname? I'm like, I wish.
Clearly.
But
wouldn't have been mine.
I was at a party, took my first shot of Fireball, and it instantly tasted like Big Red gum. And growing up,
Hate that stuff. You like that Fireball?
no.
It's too much.
It
Gets
is.
my
It's
nostrils.
a lot of cinnamon. It's good on a cold day though. It warms you up from the inside.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it had instantly tasted like Big Red. And growing up, my grandfather always had Big Red and Juicy Fruit. So I take the shot, and I'm with a group of people, and I say they need the opposite of Fireball. They need Juicy Tits. And
Wait, I've never heard this.
You've never heard this story?
No.
Good one.
And the people said, wow, that's a really great name. That's hilarious. And I took pen to paper within the coming days, and I realized how I could spell it. It's Jooicy.
I love the
O-O is
spelling.
the little boobies.
I love it.
And it was just cute. And it was a joke for the longest time. And I would go up to groups of men, groups of women, bartenders, and just market test it, but no skin in the game at all. Did not think I was going to turn it into a business. But it went on 8 years, and the feedback was so positive. 9 out of 10 times, people wanted shirts to work for me, cases, bottles. And I said, okay, let me figure out how to do something with this.
This is not just like I drew a picture, like
No.
distribution and making it and the whole kit and caboodle.
Yep, the whole kit and caboodle.
Marketing, all of it.
All of it. The only thing that was, I guess, a benefit was it was not my first business. I had a handbag brand for
Right.
8 years previously, so that was a great first foray into, I guess, business 101 and all the different components. And obviously, liquor is a very different industry than fashion.
Yeah.
But there's definitely parallels, and I think baselines that you can, echo back to as you grow with this.
Now, what do you think? Do you think it's easier to sell and market liquor as opposed to handbags?
I think in terms of price points, you're talking about, a bottle that retails $29.99 versus I was making custom order, U.S. made Italian leather handbags. So they were
Beautiful.
They were great, and I loved making it. And I probably would still be doing it, but COVID shut down physical retail. And during the time that I had pop-up shops, you're kind of manning the store, but there was a fair amount of downtime, right?
Yeah.
Unless you were designing the next collection or something like that. So that's when I really had the time to start to work on Jooicy further. So I first filed the trademark registration for Jooicy back in, I think, 2018 or 2019.
Okay.
During those, handbag days when I kind of had free time in the pop-up shop. So it's funny how the two overlapped.
That's awesome.
What was the name of your handbag?
My name, Lauren Farrell, New York.
I love it.
Yeah. But speaking of, I think it was just handbags are so personal and fashion so personal, and people love to see and touch and feel. So it was kind of that physical presence as opposed to just online retail was where our sales really started to, make some moves finally. And it was a shame that, COVID again closed down retail.
But it brought Girl Friday.
Look, we've been
To
talking
us.
about this all
And
the
we
time.
love Girl Friday.
Yes. I love that you have a name for her.
You know what? I always called her our girl. And I finally said, she needs a name. And I said, you know what? Everyone loves Friday.
I can't. The name could not have been any cuter.
Yep.
I love it.
we're in the business of fun. One of our taglines is "Life is the party." The whole point is she's supposed to make people smile and laugh.
and
It's
she
not
does.
more complicated than that.
I think you've sold out of your bottles almost every event of ours that you've shown up to.
Yep.
I will have people say, is Jooicy Tits going to be there? Because I need to buy 4 bottles for Christmas, or I need to buy 3 bottles for a 50th birthday party. Like, people love it.
Yep, and it's so nice that you have something that was a joke and then becomes an idea, and you still don't have that proof of concept yet that people are going to want what you're selling, or people are going to like it or engage with it. So you have those touch points and those interactions that are so positive, and it just adds the fuel to your fire as an entrepreneur that I'm sure you
Absolutely.
both know, those little wins that you can celebrate along the way that give you, you know, the speed to keep going and know, hey, I'm on to something. It might not be for everyone, but I focus on those moments that
niche.
are positive, and we go from there.
And I think, like, obviously, the game changer is you, because you're behind this brand. And when you meet Lauren, you just like you're such a positive person. Like, you're always game to lift other women up. Like, you show up every time. And I imagine that building Jooicy was grassroots for you. Like, did you just like, what was your process in the beginning? Like, you're like, I'm going to do this now.
I'm going to do this. So
now what?
One of the things I've always loved is branding and creativity and marketing and attacking something from big picture, end result, where do you want to be? So to have that big picture in your mind, and then you chunk it down and move backwards. So you know.
So you re-engineered it.
You re-engineer it.
Yeah.
And in liquor, it's actually a very male-dominated industry.
Yeah.
And I sat at the bar.
And you come up and you're like, here's my juicy tits, gentlemen.
Cha-ching,
All right.
cha-ching, cha-ching.
I like it. I like it.
I stared at bottles in bars and liquor stores for 8 years, and they all look the same. They're all boring labels. They're all the same script font. And I said, why is no one
shake
having
this shit
some
up.
fun with this?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then, you know, you're doing more research, and I ended up, there's not a lot of books. I'm a big, big reader. It's how I love to learn and absorb and grow. There's not many books surrounding the liquor industry. I stumbled across a book about how Patron came to be. And it was 2 men and a woman. And it was the woman's female touch and eye for detail that catapulted Patron to the level that it was. So, for example, they were at trade shows early on in Vegas with all the other liquor brands. And it was her idea, when everyone had a black tablecloth, to have a green one, the Patron brand color. And not only did they hire the hottest girls, because everyone in that kind of
Patron
space does-
girls in the early 2000s were like it. They were at every bar, classing it up. Even the shittiest bars, they were bringing like class.
Exactly.
Yep.
And this first Patron girl, she was actually a call girl that they found in Vegas.
Love it.
They brought her into the hotel room that night, trained her on the product for the next day to be on the floor, so that not only was she the pretty face or the hot body or whatever it was, she knew about the agave, she knew about the plant, she knew about the branding, and could actually speak to the business that was in the bottle. So this was one example, but just her kind of feminine touch. And again, that eye for detail that men, we need them and we love them, but they just don't necessarily always have it.
We had a call with a client that we're discovering, you know, I think you guys need a little bit more of a feminine perspective on this.
Yep.
And it's not better or worse. It's just
Different.
Yep. And just little details. Again, I didn't want just the front of the bottle to be the only thing you saw.
I know, I love
wanted
the back.
The shock
It's so
value.
cute.
Yeah, she screen printed in layers, so that was a whole design process.
So smart.
The graphic designer had to figure out, because you're limited to only using 3 colors. Otherwise, the price goes up. So all these, little things. But it's so funny. My favorite thing in terms of the front design, sometimes you'll get the occasional guy who's like, I'm not a boob guy. And I go, turn her around. the back of
Something
the
for
bikini.
everyone.
Somebody said that to me. Somebody's like, I wish I had her tits. I'm like, I wish I had her ass. I'm like, my ass has an ass now. And I'll go back to those days all day.
Seriously,
long.
I'll take her waist.
So
Yeah.
it's funny, and I designed people that use that. Yeah, I wish again. You have
But you wish in a good way,
In a
like
good way.
remembering the old days sometimes of like, I was there once. Remember, honey, when I had a nice ass and a waist?
Good old days. So now you are like, I won't say dominating, but you're really taking over down in Key West.
Yes, and Key West has been an awesome test market for us. So this goes back to the initial launch plan. Obviously, Jersey's home, and it's where you have a lot of contacts and, regulars at certain spots and just a network of people that could help you kind of infiltrate the marketplace here. But basically, the legal process is the biggest,
We're
craziest
Jersey.
headache of this whole thing. We're Jersey.
Yeah.
Try to do it.
What, you want to have a
that-
business? How dare you?
Not to mention a liquor business, a highly regulated business.
Right.
So it's a much more expensive, longer process with
Yeah.
many more barriers to entry. So
Meanwhile, Florida's like, come on.
literally, Florida was like, let's fingerprint you. Here's a nominal fee you have to pay, and you're off
The
to
way
the
it
races.
should be. It's the way it
Yep.
should be.
Yep, exactly.
So is that why you wound up in Florida? Because it was the easiest, or do you have
So
connections down there?
It was legality wise, again, unless you were opening a craft distillery, which I wasn't going to do out the gates, you need to go the route of what's called contract bottling. So you need to find out of state a different distillery that does contract bottling. And basically, you go with your idea of the recipe. They do their thing as the master distillers, come back with a couple different varieties for you, and then you fine tune and lock in on that, recipe you ultimately want to produce. And then that's what's produced, bottled, and then the fun part is marketing. So the product's made in Florida. The strategy being Florida would have been the second state we went to if Jersey was the first. But we just flipped the script, and right out the gate, literally, she came off the production line in July of 2022. We went to Miami that following couple days and pounded the pavement, not knowing anything about what
love
we were
that.
doing. And my boyfriend came along to come for the first time and just support and drive the rental car and let me run into liquor stores. And I had no idea what I was doing.
So what were you doing? Just grabbing your bottle and running in there and
Every
being
bottle,
like,
I had a little brand sheet I made, contact information, but still figuring out who you're supposed to ask for, what your little elevator pitch is. You're nervous. I'm not kidding. It was like almost 100 degrees in Miami. I'm carrying a backpack. I'm sweating. You're getting
Bottles are heavy.
Yeah, they're heavy.
I tell my
getting
boss,
juicy.
Exactly. And so I'll never forget, it was one woman at one liquor store in South Beach, Miami. We were literally leaving for the airport a couple hours later. A nice Italian woman from Naples with the cutest little liquor store. And she first said no, and then she changed her mind and she said yes. And it was like, I would have been devastated if we went home that first trip not having had any bites. But
So did she buy a case?
She bought 6 bottles.
Amazing.
And she said, I'm going to redo my window. And literally within the next, I think, couple hours, we had driven by again, and she had bottles in the window. But meanwhile, one thing I didn't know was the way that we had the transaction done. We weren't supposed to leave the bottles there because you're eliminating the middleman distributor. That's part of the 3-tier system that goes back to the prohibition.
Okay.
So, again, these little learning processes as
everything is a
proceed.
lesson.
Yep. But the most, impactful thing was just to see you were in a liquor store. Your bottles were next to the brown bottles sitting on top of the White Claw. And I'll never forget that.
Can you post that in your story?
Is she still
I would
your
love to see that
Is
picture.
she still your client?
No, she hasn't. She hasn't reordered, which is unfortunate, but it's tricky. And what we're learning is, and this is going to be a challenge as we scale, so much of this is maintaining the relationship and being present. That's why larger distributors have salespeople in different territories and regions, and they're in the bars and venues, 2-3 times a week, depending. That's more so beer, but you have to be there, or you have to have a team that can be there. So it's very tricky to be in, New Jersey, flying down.
Yeah.
I had a full-time job at the time, so you're taking long weekends here and there, going down to different markets within Florida. And we happened to go to Key West, and Key West, something about it, I loved it. It's a manageable little city, and there's so much tourism. So you're meeting people from all over the country. And that first trip, we had 7 or 8 accounts that took us, and we've gone back and nurtured
This
it.
bottle was made for Key West.
I mean, if
honestly-
anything ever was, that's how I explained it to my mom. I'm like, she does very well in the Florida and Key West areas. And my mom was like, woohoo! But it's good fun.
It's good fun.
And
And
it's
then
good fun.
a lot of people from the Midwest are in Key West,
Yeah.
Ohio.
My aunt goes there all the
Michigan.
time.
Yeah, but
She did
people
the
love
whole
it.
dress up parade thing.
Fantasy Fest. It's crazy.
But she's like, church every Sunday. It's not like, so Jooicy does,
No, it's
does well
perfect.
there.
Yeah. But the nice thing, Key West was also a great test market to know what works, what doesn't work. Now that we're in 25 different accounts, combined bars and liquor stores.
Yeah.
And I have a mentor who did marketing for Bacardi for 25 years. He said the fact you're on shelves, let alone that many, let alone having reorders, which is a key metric that kind of gauges your success in the industry. he said, you have something.
Yeah.
here,"
You
because
totally
we
do.
couldn't even get Bacardi on the shelves back in the day with our
Amazing.
marketing budget. So again, it's that little like, all right,
Yes.
we can
You
It's
have
that,
this-
yeah.
The universe is talking to you.
Yeah.
Well, how do you feel a mentor has come in and helped you in your business practices? Specific to your industry, right?
Specific to your industry has its certain caveats and questions that you can ask, which I think is great in terms of the particulars. But I think echoing back to days with my handbag brand, I had a mentor from Lehigh where I went to school, and he spearheaded an entrepreneurial program back when I was a student that made me want to become an entrepreneur. So I remained in touch with him and used to go back to his grad school kind of, I guess, classes as a live case study with my handbag brand.
Oh, cool.
Meanwhile, he was my mentor at the time, and he's done a handful of different successful deals, all different industries. But I would say he's just a sounding board who understands the mind of an entrepreneur and keeps telling you, keep going, which is sometimes people don't always understand it, and people don't understand that you don't want the paycheck and the cushy benefits and the this, that you'll do anything to at least try
Yeah.
and make your vision and your dream come to reality. At least try it.
And in your case, I mean, it's been 6 years, 2018. Can I do math? Yeah, 2024.
So it officially launched in 2022, but again, the trademark kind
Right,
of
but you
ideation of
started
it.
like all, I
Yeah.
mean, you started your hustle.
Even if you didn't know what it was,
Yeah.
you know, like you just started, you're like, well, I know people got to know about this. So let's start there.
Right.
Right. And then you learned and you kept moving and you just expanded and you're expanding now. Where are we? Besides Florida. And
Florida.
are we?
Jersey, hopefully by the end of February at the latest.
Oh, wow.
And then we
Yay.
can ship direct to consumer in 32 different states.
Wow.
Amazing.
So that's amazing because that's not an area that I've allocated any efforts into.
Oh,
in
you
terms
should
of-
get on that.
Yeah, the booze, but the orders come in for the booze and the merch. So it's kind of cool to see
That is cool.
organically. And again, some of it might be some of the people that we meet in Key West or that engage with the brand in Key West, then go home and order.
Yes.
But it's also, you never know who tells who or who sees
Oh,
a t-shirt or a
100%.
sticker. So that's kind of the cool,
Yeah.
fun part. And again, back to, the beginning of what we were talking about, the name has the shock value to be memorable,
It is memorable.
which is,
is
you have to
memorable.
stick out in a sea of competition.
That would be a fun campaign for you to do on Instagram. Like juicy stickers, show like tag me with where you put them
Yeah.
all over the country.
Love that.
Like
Love
that would be
that.
super fun.
And it's a small world because this mentor from Bacardi, he's retired, but he happened to have one or two preliminary calls with me, and he was in Georgia for a weekend, and he goes, I cannot believe it. And there was a Juicy sticker on a telephone pole in Georgia.
love it.
So it was
I
cool.
love it. That is so
It was
cool.
cool.
It's so identifiable, even just with the O's.
Yeah.
Like it is just, it's an identifiable boob.
It sits on my buffet in my dining room with like my little mixer and everyone that comes over, and I'm like, yes.
And I gave
I
it to
have
my
children.
aunt, and she said it's not just a cool thing, but it's a good vodka.
It is
the
a good
thing.
vodka.
Like it's a good vodka.
Speaking of good vodka,
I've been helping myself because I had to take.
what do
home-
we have here?
So this is an Orange Crush.
Orange Crush.
This
Yeah, it's
is
delicious.
vodka, triple sec, freshly squeezed orange juice. I just got a juicer recently.
Oh, are you into juicing?
No, as of a few days ago, I've been very
You are
into
now.
celery juice.
Celery.
Yes.
Okay.
Celery juice is so good.
It's good
so
for
good
you.
for
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, and then
I think I like that.
we have a little 7-Up on top.
Oh, okay.
Cheers.
Cheers
Clink to
Jersey.
to Jersey.
to Jersey.
And to you
And
all
to
as well.
you taking over the world.
Juicy tits.
We're not stopping at Jersey.
Oh, I like this
Are you
one.
kidding me?
I know.
I don't think you've ever made a drink I don't like, but
So this is just fresh, right? Like I just
so
feel
good.
cooler, but it goes down so nice.
I would drink this all summer
Yeah, that's the perfect.
and all winter.
And I figure citrus fruits are in season.
And we all need vitamin C.
Yeah, so-
so between the
Immunity
alcohol
booster.
and the vitamin C, you're killing
fine.
all the germs.
Exactly.
This is an immune booster.
It's partying with a purpose. I love this.
It's an immune booster.
I'm in trouble.
This is all about the wellness, and I'm here for that.
And the balance, right? We
The
got
balance.
So do you see Juicy like in 5 years having flavored vodka,
Oh, I have
or
plenty of-
maybe
plenty of
like a
ideas.
tequila, or
I bet the ideas never stop.
I can't
never
wait.
stop.
We can talk about them off podcast if you want.
I have so many.
I
ideas.
can't wait. I love ideas.
Too many to share and too good to share.
Okay.
Just in case.
Just stay tuned. Just
Stay tuned.
Yeah, don't give away the secret sauce. Not yet.
But-
let them on
So-
for
You'll
sure.
see.
We hung out for a minute, right, around Christmas, around the holidays,
Yes.
and you had a life altering.
Yes.
But like it, most people would have been like shit, and you were like, "Thank you, Jesus."
Yes.
Do you want to talk about
So I was.
Do you want to talk about
We
it?
can. I don't mind.
it? Okay.
So here's the thing. I've always known I was an entrepreneur and I always wanted to do my own thing. Again, COVID hit, the handbag brand shut down. I was working on a golf course as a beverage cart girl, again, with the strategy of I can see how people indulge. I can do some of my market testing. What are the popular drinks? All strategy. And I ended up interacting with someone who had bought handbags and had hosted basically a gifting holiday event at his contracting firm. And he saw one day that I had posted a golf course. I do play, but this was work day. I was like, view from the office. And he goes, "Do you need a job? I need a BD girl." And I was like, "What? Construction? That's not fashion by any means." And I really liked him. I really liked the vibe of the office, and the job was a ton of fun. It was literally wining and dining clients, brokers.
Sales.
Yeah, that's
golf.
fun.
Business development is fun.
It was the height of COVID, so it was a little bit toned down in terms of what you could do.
Yeah.
But honestly, you were at lunches, dinners, happy hours, playing golf all the time, so I loved it. I parted ways with him last October, and I was kind of then stuck in this, I guess, real estate hole if this is where your contacts and your Rolodex were for the last 2.5 years. And so I ended up getting pursued by a woman who was in the world of furniture. And at this point, I was getting kind of desperate, like needed a job. And I was like, "Oh, God, furniture. All right. Let's
Here we go.
People need it.
Sales.
People
It's
need it.
fine. People need it. And it was,
I'm in title insurance.
hey, people need it.
People need it.
They can't have the house without it.
But you just, inside. And I got to the point where now going on, the 7th, 8th month, that it was soul sucking. You're sitting behind a computer in a spreadsheet every single day. The job wasn't what was pitched to me in terms of the level of sales that it could have, should have been. And I remember just the feeling of constant dread. And you're still doing the best you can do. You're still,
Performing.
trying to find the silver lining and
Yeah.
make it positive. But we ended up, I got let go in the beginning of December, and I just remember the relief. And I just said, this is so amazing. What a gift that now I have free time
Yeah.
to pursue Jooicy, and the timing of Jooicy coming to Jersey and having some runway to see what you're able to do in the next several months with just the focus being Jooicy. It's a
So nice.
total blessing.
And being laid off, it like alleviates that guilt of like quitting your steady gig, because I mean they laid me off,
Right.
right?
It's still a shitty feeling.
Nobody
it
likes
totally
that.
sucks.
Yeah.
Nobody
It's a
likes
totally
to be-
shitty feeling. But
No, I
just
without a doubt.
Again, I walked away and I knew, it's a learning experience, not just in the sense of X, Y, and Z, but that's not the kind of manager I want to be, is also what I walked away with. And I remember
Yes.
saying, I'll never treat people
Yeah.
like that. And just look back.
You
at-
had a woman above you who was really out for something to make you look in a certain way. And unfortunately, she won.
It's okay. I think
It's
I did.
okay.
In that
You
arena.
totally won.
In that arena.
You won.
In her eyes.
But it was so funny because in our recent review, she was like, you can watch some YouTube videos on sales. And in my head,
There
I'm
was
like,
nothing you could have done differently.
No.
She just hated you.
Yeah. Haters gonna hate.
Haters always hate. And
But this
would you
freed
ever
you.
have given yourself the opportunity to like catapult this and like, you know what? Now I've got this in front of me. You've got some crazy momentum in some really hot spots that could blow up
Yep.
instantly. Not even just like a slow growth, but
Right.
like your explosion.
No,
is,
wait till Jersey.
Yeah.
Wait
We
till
do
Jersey.
it when-
like you have to. You are not have to. You are going to be open before the summer for Jersey.
Oh, definitely.
And it's going to be the easiest.
You're gonna be in every beach club.
We're already
Yeah.
in. There's a good 40 accounts and big ones
I've-
that want us.
yes.
And it's a small world. So back in Key West, small world. The owner of Bar A, who we've met previously, happens to be at the same martini bar as us.
Boom.
He already was taking us, but we got to hang out with him for 2 more days. And anything
It's
I can
gonna
do
go
to help
so
this, that,
fast.
I can't wait. And something about Jersey.
Like, do you ever get that feeling of like, holy
Let's enjoy the calm before the storm.
I don't think you should. I think you should
No.
get really wrapped up in it and like act like it's already
Hell, I
happened.
want to be a
Totally.
juicy salesperson. Sign me
Same.
up.
It sells itself.
I know. That's why I want. No, I'm just kidding.
Nobody wants these juicy
It's just amazing.
Get some young girls out there. You'll be great.
It's gonna be. You're gonna take over the shore. I can.
But I don't think
Yeah.
that's just like who you speak to, because meeting Lauren, you meet like such an articulate, smart, business savvy woman who gets marketing, who understands her client, respects her client and the niche that she falls into. But you're very elevated. Like your potential spans so much that it really could do well in very high established places and fun places.
And it's
that
going to.
It transcends.
And you give back.
Yep.
Which is really amazing.
Yep. So there's, I always knew no matter what business was, because again, the handbags, I had a charity angle to every collection ever released. But I just, again, big picture. When it gets to the point that you want it to get to,
when,
what do you want it to look like? What have you done? Who have you impacted? You have a platform at that point. Did you just start it when you have that level of,
Right.
breadth of reach, or did you do it from the beginning? And I always wanted to do it from the beginning because it was important to me. And so it was tricky to figure out where Jooicy fit, but obviously breast cancer was a natural tie to Jooicy Tits, but you wanted to go the route of not offending. And
Authentic,
again,
yeah.
Doing your diligence.
Stacey's favorite word, authentic.
She loves it. Anyway.
Authentic.
Authentic.
Stop it.
Doing your diligence within that realm to know that you're not offending anyone and that you're doing it in a tasteful way where people understand it. And
Well, you deliver your message that way. So I think that it obviously landed in a way that was impactful.
Thank you. And you really know you're doing something right when we'll do a tasting somewhere and I'll always have a goodie bag of hats or teas or, koozies, all little. I feel like Santa Claus. It's so much fun because people are so excited to get like a koozie.
My mom said tonight.
I pulled your sunglasses out the other day and I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
it's perfect.
They're good.
It's
They're
fun.
good.
It is
Yeah.
fun.
But a lot of times it'll be a woman who's a survivor or just underwent treatment again or whatever. And somehow you brought levity to something so heavy. And that was the common thread in doing this research among that community was you're bringing levity to something so heavy. And the world can't be taking that seriously.
No.
That
Right.
this is fun and light and you're giving back. And that's the whole
What are
point.
some of the organizations? So to clarification, she parties with a purpose and donates 10% of all her
profits from sales of vodka and merchandise to, in particular, it's one charity. It's a woman named Paula Flory. She's Princeton-based. She's incredible. She's a survivor herself.
What's her handle so people can follow her?
Move Over Breast Cancer.
And that's on Instagram.
On Instagram, on Facebook. She has a website as well. She's a nonprofit, and she basically drives around a pink van. It's beautiful. She calls it a mobile resource van. And she goes to women undergoing chemo or treatment, not comfortable to always leave their homes, teaches them how to tie scarves, fits them for wigs, fits them for bras, drives them to doctor's appointments. So it's
amazing.
It's amazing. And her community is growing even more so. They're doing retreats, and she's just fostered this amazing, supportive group of these survivors and beyond, because there's such a supportive system of people that want to help. So I happened to be introduced to her via a friend who loved the branding, loved the bottle. She said, "You're going to get along with Paula great." And we hit it off. And hopefully, if all goes according to plan, we'll hopefully be sponsoring their golf tournament this year. So
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Oh, well, that's full circle, right?
Yeah, totally.
Love that.
Oh, I just got like
Come
a little...
on, New Jersey, get your act together and get this girl licensed to sell. This is crazy.
When are they doing that?
That her event is usually in the summer.
The summer. Oh, you're going to be.
You'll be there.
You're going to be there.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah, you're going to be out in the next month by the end of February.
Yep.
It's going to be here literally next week. Next week is February.
That's crazy. Don't say
Which Lauren is coming to our, I wonder how many events. I would have to go back and look at some pictures that you've been at. At
Like
least
almost all of them.
Almost.
Yeah.
She came to our open house. So now I remember after sitting
you.
here how we all connected. And I think
Connect One Bank.
Yes.
I was going to say
My
yes.
girl Double D.
double D's.
Danielle, I knew it. And I said, I'm like, Danielle, put you two or us in turnkey.
Because I believe she was involved in turnkey, and she had reached out to you guys first and said, I have a friend with a vodka
Yeah.
brand. I think she'd be a great fit. And then you guys slid into my DMs. That's what we do.
That's how we do.
There is, I'm telling you, not one person who has sat here. I don't think that we have not approached
Yeah.
that way.
We're creepy like that.
Hey, it works.
God,
Look,
you gotta do.
I go back to the story, and now I'm going to make it a statistic. That I don't know what the
Bold.
statistic is,
She's just gonna make shit up.
but I know there was one. You could probably look it up, and we'll try to post it on our
You know,
stories.
75% of all statistics are made up.
Our statistic,
Right?
or a
Like it.
statistic of lie.
Or BS.
Well, this guy is from Instagram, and I apologize for not knowing exactly who he was, but he talked about that there is so much more business being done in DMs,
for sure.
than there is in like comments in feed posts. So like the traffic now has shifted to there, and the viewing has shifted to the stories because it's like faster, it's instant. We are all on our platforms all the time. And I remember when I saw your feed, it was so beautiful. And I said to Danielle, I'm like, I want to see more of Lauren. Like, I keep going back to this word, but you elevate this brand when like you're speaking to your audience. And since we've gotten in this whole like social media marketing world, like you really start to realize that a business owner who hustles as hard and puts themselves out there for their audience to see, to listen to be relatable
To feel like they know you.
yeah, and be vulnerable with, like getting on there all the time is, it's like, oh God, is it over here? Or I just said before here, I'm like, is my part weird? Is my this? And it's like, at some point it's like, I believe in this and I'm going to do this. And I remember when I started seeing so much more of you on your feed, and I was like, that's exactly what her audience needs is you. Like, you are Friday.
And that was
bring the fun.
That was from your comment to Danielle, which she translated back to me in a positive, beautiful way of just
No, I
great
meant
feedback.
when I saw you doing it,
It's
I was
so
like,
good.
oh, I love that. Like you had already done it. I just wanted to see more of it. Like I was fangirling. I was like, she needs to be on there more because you present it in such a fun, light, like great way. It's TGIF, like 100%.
I roll with it.
You
see-
do.
Did you see the one where it
The
was
17, take 17. I love it. I'm like, she's so cute. Like I just like, whoop.
the worst but the best because it was so funny was I did a July 4th. It was supposed to be
I
a
know,
red, white, and
exactly.
blue
Yes,
layered
yes.
cocktail. And I made it like 6 times and it was black every time. I just said, fuck it.
That's it.
This is, you know what? It tastes good.
Sorry,
You guys
guys.
can make it. We'll make it for Halloween. I gave up at that point.
That
But you're
layered
injured.
stuff.
I'm
is
getting
like,
drunk over here.
look
with
at
the taste
me.
test.
We're laughing up a storm. But I laughed at that and totally related to it because I did a video once and I was supposed to meet one of our members, Francesca. We were meeting somewhere to pass out flyers for an event, and I was going to stop quickly on the boardwalk and do a quick promo video. Like, this couple literally walked to the end of the boardwalk and back, and many people in between, they're like, oh, honey, you're still doing this? And I'm like, yes, still
am.
trying. Just
We've all done it. I did it before our promenade event. And then I eventually said, I can't do it. I think I got like a third
yeah.
of the way. I did it like 10 times. I'm
Yeah.
like, my mouth no longer works.
Yeah.
Sorry.
But you were so cute about it. That was like, oops, take 17. I'm like, I love that. Like, and it just was so authentic.
Gotta be. It's more fun that way.
No, it is.
It is.
And like when you I had an issue for a while, like with real estate, I wouldn't go on camera. Like I would not, I hated it. Now I'm on there. I'm like, I got gray hair popping out. Don't care. Put my hat on. Like barely any makeup. I mean, people want to see you. They want to see who you are. Good, bad, ugly. As what's evident in what I saw today on some posting, they'd rather see you ugly than done up, which is a topic for another podcast. But they want to see it.
think I delivered
And I'm
on
not
that.
going to say authentic, but they just want to see
You said it.
the real you.
Yeah.
The real you.
Should we make this a drinking game every time we say
Yes.
Oh, that's I like.
Yes, let's do it.
Does that count?
authentic?
Do we all drink? Cheers.
Yes. Perfect.
Shout out to Andy Cohen. This is his game, word of the night.
Oh,
And he counts, so that's one. And at the end of it, he always tells people, no drinking and driving, everybody, blah, blah, blah.
No drinking and driving.
Authentic.
Don't you? She's going to do it on purpose
And
now.
Andy, if you listen, shout out. Get in touch with Bethany for me.
I don't think they're going to
Oh, yeah.
Oh, never mind.
Bethany, they don't get along?
She's trying to bring down, like, the Bravo machine.
Well, that's a shame.
I'm not up on my Bravo news.
Girl, if you need any info, I'm telling you, I'm going to get that.
She's just going to start calling Bethany.
I will.
Bethany, if you're
and you
out
want to
there.
know why? And this is why. And we are going to tag Bethany Frankel.
Practice what you preach, girl.
Because I saw her in an interview, and she said that she wanted to talk to Mark Cuban. And I guess she had obviously
She was already Bethany Frankel.
She was already Bethany Frankel. However, she wanted to do, I think it was the Shark Tank thing that she wanted to get involved in. And I think it's like so many of us do, and we talk about this, especially right now, the imposter feeling.
Yes.
And she didn't say this. I'm just thinking that this is where it came from, that she was just like, she sold a spirit for 120 million or something, 119 million, something like that, to Jim Beam. She was afraid to call Mark Cuban. Like, the levels of, I guess, success are bananas. But she remembers, I think he said in an interview, you want to talk to somebody?
Call them.
Call them.
Call them.
Pick up the phone. So, Bethany.
Lauren's tried to call you.
I've slipped in your DMs a few times.
It works for us. But if you think a phone call is better,
Text us. DM us.
we're going to represent you as your PR.
Yes.
I love it.
And
Do
we're
you?
going to...
Authentic.
Why wouldn't I?
I think she would answer.
But I think that's like what we always say, right? What's the worst they can say? No.
What's the worst that can happen?
She's just not going to answer. And I'm going to tag her again and say, and I'm going to stitch,
Let's just clip this.
we're going to stitch
Bethany, we coming for you.
that interview. But here's my thing. Like, she should want to get behind something like this.
Yeah.
She got behind some mocktail thing, and I
saw
was
that.
like, yeah.
I saw that, and I wrote that woman, and I asked how she had gotten in touch.
Oh, I love that.
Bethany. I didn't hear back from her. But
Well, I
I'm
think
persistent.
consistency.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think persistent
it.
and consistency.
I
is-
once harassed, well, yeah, I was harassing. I harassed this client.
They call that follow up.
They do. I mean, I call it follow up, but it's
Successful
borderline,
people call it
like I'm going to
follow-up.
get a restraining order. I was just calling and emailing and maybe sending mail to the house, like useful mail.
You
know,
put a
market
postage
reports
on
and what.
it. Yeah,
I did. I
That's
mean, it was
legal.
legit.
It's all legal. You weren't climbing up the tree in
He
their
gave
backyard.
me his listing
Were
because
you?
he said that I was the most persistent person he's ever met in his life, and I said thank you for calling me persistent and not annoying, and I sold his house.
Look,
Yep.
it off.
Took me a year, but I got it.
you have to make them
off.
remember
Yep.
you, and they're busy. This is Bethany Frankel.
100%. And how many times do you
This
get
is
a
not
text?
like she doesn't believe in it. She just needs it.
She needs to see it a few more
Lots of
times
attention, right.
because that's it.
And it. What? How do you know she's actually seeing it when it's happening?
don't.
Is it being related? Is she so busy? Is it this? Is it that? And if you don't keep doing it,
But did you see her show on HBO when she was looking for an assistant?
No.
It was phenomenal. It was so good because she had.
I'm
such,
gonna binge that.
You should.
I wonder where would I find?
It was on HBO, so it's probably
probably
still
on
on
demand.
HBO. I'm
Yeah.
forgetting the name of it, but she basically right out the gate, the first cocktail party of meeting the candidates, she has them go right to work in terms of her product portfolio of all of her brand categories that she's in now because she was genius in what she did with selling her liquor brand.
Yeah.
She kept the name Skinny Girl.
Yes.
She licensed it to a million different product
Yes,
categories.
she has like skinny bars and jeans and
Salad dressing.
Everything.
But it's a whole competition, and it's so interesting what she tunes into in terms of how people
I'm
would
gonna-
interact with her brand, and just,
Yes.
you know, it was such a great show.
She's a fascinating woman. I really am impressed by her. I don't always love what she says, but I love her work ethic.
at least she's saying something too.
And she
Like
is
that's
saying
what I
something.
come back
And she
to.
keeps it authentic.
I had to
Well played.
hold my nose. I almost snarled.
Well played.
Have you ever
She
seen-
does though.
She does.
She's she is very genuine.
I think she would look at this and be like, like you're not just somebody, just out there being anything other than like hustling your ass off.
Mm-hmm.
And every business, that's one of the common threads that like we're finding now that this is becoming not just as salespeople for a business, but as your own business. When it's like you've been in a war together. Like you all know there's like a real fight and a struggle, and it's fun, but sometimes you get kicked, and sometimes you're up, and sometimes you're down, and
You cry.
you have excitement that just ends up falling flat, and that like disappointment is almost like
Yeah.
the worst.
It
at
is
times.
the worst.
But I think it's because, too, there was a recent situation where Rob and I were chatting about, and he said, don't take it personally. And I said, it's so funny that you say that, and it's easy to say, but when it's yours
Yeah.
and you're so in it,
Yeah.
and everything matters, it's so hard
and
to
you
just brush
put
it
your
off.
whole life
Exactly.
into it. Yeah.
Exactly. It's hard to
And you
just-
believe in it, right?
Yep.
But I think what you put out is 100% what comes back.
Mhm.
And sometimes taking that pause to wait for it to happen. It's going to happen. It's happening.
It's happening.
It's not even it's going to. It's happening, and now it's just going to be next level.
So after Jersey, where are you gonna? What's your next state to tackle?
So since Jersey's such a crazy state in terms of the process,
You're gonna
here,
take a break for a year?
No, you get grandfathered into some other states. So you get
oh, it's like
grandfathered
a
into
bundle?
Arizona,
This
New
is like-
Mexico.
how do we end up in Arizona?
It's
and
fine.
Mexico?
Phoenix has a very
And
big
it's great.
scene for bachelorettes.
It's insane that like
Scottsdale.
that's who we partner with.
I don't know if I have to get the full details, but I know that, and then I know. So how it works? You have your what's classified as A states, B states, and then C states. So your A states, it's New York,
Is that
New
where
Jersey.
ABC comes from?
Oh, you can get
Florida.
into New York?
No, California and Texas are the A states.
Oh,
that-
they're like their own.
no, they dictate the sales of liquor and the trends in liquor in those
Oh.
states, and affect the B
Oh.
markets and then the C markets. So those
Okay.
are like the big dog states that you would want to be in because they're the players.
Gotcha. So
So-
that's like your hit list.
That's yes, and the
Got
nice
it.
thing is we're going to be in 2 of them. Texas is an easy process. So Texas is
Nice.
definitely on the line of sight. of
That's
a next
fun in
state.
Texas.
It
So
is.
everything's bigger.
Can we go to Austin?
Everything's bigger in Texas.
I don't know why I thought of that.
It's
I'm
fine.
drinking just
It's
because.
perfect. Cheers. Authentic. So Texas would be great. Galveston.
Texas is
they're
gonna be
so,
amazing.
Yeah.
Dallas.
Austin.
Austin.
Yep.
Look, I keep going to shout out to Courtney at Soulshine Crystals and Nan. She does the Reiki and the readings there. And she said to me, and in my head, I'm not going anywhere. She's like, there's travel in your future. And like we started talking about going to certain summits. And now there's like all these like little nuggets of people around me, women in business, who are also, and I think it's not just like a direct thing. I think it's the community that's happening
Yeah,
with Turkey women.
We've made we're lucky. We've been blessed with attracting a really great group of badass women.
They really are so fucking badass.
I think supportive is key.
Yeah.
So supportive, non-judgmental, not competitive. I mean, we're all competitive, but with ourselves.
But genuinely happy for one another.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
that's such a rare thing to find.
Celebrating all the wins all the time.
Exactly.
Is, so important.
And it's not complicated. It's just a
It's
shame
not.
that it's so rare.
It's like a good relationship. It's not supposed to be that hard.
It's not supposed to be that hard.
Right?
Yeah.
And that's what, when, your life shifted professionally, it's not supposed to be that hard. Like,
No.
jobs suck, sure, but like, it should be exciting again.
Yeah.
And doing it yourself is like, fuck yes.
It's amazing
Well-
just to schedule your day. You know,
It's amazing.
It's just the most
best.
authentic part of myself I could ever be.
On that note, cheers to 2024 and beyond.
Yes.
Thank
Right?
you for coming,
All good
Lauren.
things.
For having me.
Make
This
sure
was a
you check
blast.
out her Instagram at JOOICY tits.com.
Tits.com. No .com.
No.
Just
No,
Juicy
no,
Tits.
you
Juicy tits.
Don't forget the vodka.
Juicy
Yeah,
tits.
Juicy Tits
Or-
Vodka.
Help Google it, get the SEO going. We'll bump it.
We
to the
tag
top.
her all
Yep.
the time.
Google it. Google
She'll
it.
be tagged in this.
But make sure that you don't just Google Juicy Tits.
I have no control over
You
that.
have to Google
no, I said
Juicy Tits
Instagram.
Vodka.
I said Instagram.
Yeah,
but it's
true.
vodka.
But if they do go to
Yeah.
The World
Jooicy
Wide Web.
Tits, yeah.
Jooicy Tits Vodka.
It's like, I know that we were signing off, but one funny story. I guess it was like 8 or 9 years ago. One of my mom's friends was trying to find Dick's Sporting Goods, and she just Googled Dick's. Yeah.
So good.
So good.
Where did she end up?
Scared. She was scared. She was just like, don't do it.
That's one last final.
Oh,
note.
like
Yes.
Don't do it.
Yes.
Sarah Blakely, who's another one of my female entrepreneur idols.
you've talked about her to us before, the book, right?
That's Kendra Scott. She's
Yeah,
another one. But Sarah
That
Blakely,
might be our next book.
Oh,
Yeah.
love it. My mom's reading it right now. But, so Sarah Blakely, she had some issues in terms of Spanx
Okay.
and her initial branding.
I bet she did.
Don't forget the vodka.
Don't
when you
forget-
go to Google it.
Save yourself.
Oh.
We're following a good footsteps.
I didn't even remember what we were talking about. My cup is a lot gone. I started earlier than they did. Oh,
Oh,
Spanx.
thanks. Yeah. So on that note, thanks
Cheers.
for coming by, Lauren. Cheers.